Hello, welcome to this next tape, where it will explain more about all the other Cry Lab creatures you will most likely see, but not guaranteed, with there being quite a few. These are all the fancy recreations that we show usually more people in person, but you are over in a different alternate reality yourself, or even just far away in general. So, if you most likely already watched the first version of me having to explain this guy, you know him quite well, most people know him around in Alternate Reality 0, Sean the Sofa. And another one to explain is Bunny. They're quite common, you probably already know about this before you even went in Cry Labs to become an employee in the first place. And this terrifying thing, the first of the ones that I'll explain with the Cry Lab creature so far, buckle up, this is a long tape. Right, this one is called the Akaline Terror, a very scary beast called Cry Lab creature, which has a massive mouth. Thankfully, these aren't actually real live versions, but just cool recreations with more info about them. Being they have quite good night vision, and as you can see, they are very good at eating things. So they have a giant jaw with outwards teeth, outward pointing teeth, so they're able to catch onto prey more easily. Fun fact, you might not be able to tell, but it's called the Akaline Terror because of the pH scale, where it's like alkaline and purpley. It's what's quite cool myself. It also has quite good hearing, and has very old arm tentacle things. Very unusual, I haven't seen one in real life yet. And off the next one, the Abhorrence Reptile. Basically being fear disgust reptile. Name being a terrifying humanoid lizard with no eyes, but a giant nose. This is important as they're, well, firstly look on the basic text first. They have a very good sense of smell, note to note, because of their giant nose. But it gives them kind of smell-o-vision, if that makes sense. They have no eyes, but they could accurately see what things are, because they have such terrific smell. It's like around, quite shockingly, 40 to 50 times better smelling than a dog has. A trained dog, in their capabilities, being like unfathomably being able to smell things much more better. They are quite deadly in Cry Labs, as they're not just deadly to people in one sense, but they have terrifying venom that inject out of their sharp teeth. Kind of like, most snakes, which when punched through can infect people with a kind of the Abhorrence Reptile virus, which slowly turns a person into one of it, losing your eyes, turning orange, growing horns, green ones specifically. I do not like them myself. They're quite terrifying. Well, moving on. Oh. I don't remember this one. A sun Spikeapead. Yeah. Feel like kind of looks like a dragon, doesn't it? Well, they can climb quite well. Sharp spine. Check. An omnivore, and there's a bug-like reptile. Yeah. They're quite scary, I think. I think they might climbing trees. Not sure what the frills would look like. Definitely not looking like a dragon. Like a slow little thing. Pretty cool though. To the next Cry Labs creature. Oh, this crazy thing. A mobile mannequin. These are a bit more of a scary one, because this one's kind of like, so this one's evolved, or not really less evolved. It's a different kind of strategy to kill things. As you can see, it pretends to be a mannequin. Let's firstly get on the basic information. Mobile mannequin. Yeah, it mimics mannequins and it hunts when people are not looking at it. It usually does it late at night, but they hide. Well, less hide. They pretend to be mannequins in the day. Usually in some shots without them realizing. Usually it's like it just does like a duplicate one in the. Usually for workers, it's more apparent because there are usually some mannequins back in some of the storage room that's an extra. It's usually one of these. And one of these ones are quite scary because they're just there acting like normal, and they just move slowly towards the person usually stalking things, and it could be quite deadly, as you could see. Without anyone noticing, they're abnormally strong, terrifying, and then their face flaps up and they kind of just bite the neck and kill. Quite terrifying. Thankfully, as of Cry Labs, is a good promise to the people of Reality Zero, the origin. We will not be getting these anywhere near. We'll make sure that none of these are going to cross, because it'll be terrifying to have in our shopping industry. So stay safe, and yeah, don't worry about this guy coming out only if you're traveling to different alternate realities. Ooh, a Manicapod, a giant bug. They can somehow fly. Alright, a deadly carnivore, and it looks warm. It's like a deadly fire ant with spikes. Quite scary, quite big. Thankfully, a lot of these ones don't have a high intelligence. Mannequin does, and oh yeah, sadly, Abhorrence Reptiles, the people with lower self-awareness, but they still know they're human, or were. Well, this is a bug. It doesn't have as much. Yes, alright. The next one, because we've got quite a few to go through. A skull stalker. Quite familiar with these guys. Quite a scary one. They look like dead and alive at the same time. It stalks prey and it has strong, sharp exoskeleton. Quite hard to crack. Well, kind of the tin of the can, it just slowly stalks onto prey and tries to get them. Quite deadly, especially with their long claws and sharp knuckles. Basically, if you stay away from these, they're very dangerous. But they could also like to mimic sometimes as a corpse. Not too believable, of course, as you got the usually their green mouth and their red tongue, which alerts they're alive. And also, they don't look too bony compared to an actual skeleton. Right. And on to the next one. Ooh. Realtree Lurker. Ooh, cool. They're very unusually named. I don't know why. Mr. Cry likes the name them so weird. Got Realtree is like a type of camera, and that's why he did this. I just heard it from one of the other employees. It has many eyes. Ooh, it does have many eyes. Very batish-like. Oh, tree-like camouflage. And it can climb. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah! So these ones climb up trees and they surprise attack their prey with their very similar to Stalker ones. Right, they surprise, especially with their back tentacle like wooden appendages looking like branches, meaning that they could hide quite accurately. The key clue on if one's around is if you see an odd looking shape with a lot of, like basically if you see large moss things in trees, because they are rather moss-like, they always hide their face. So if you're quite quiet, even though they do have very big ears, meaning they'll be very hard. But as if you ever feel suspicious in like a different reality and you're exploring, sometimes they're showing himself quite durable. He doesn't like to be alone. Just be alert. Always call something out so to make sure you're safe. Because it's better to be careful in a whole other world than to just relax like as a daydream. Oh, very similar one. Bark Biter. Very similar to the other one, except for he goes near trees and there sometimes even just pretends to be trees. Sometimes they're confusing because you get confused if they're a plant or one acting like one. You don't know where it begins. Has many mouths, blend in with trees. It's quite strong and can climb. Many mouths. Usually the ones with multiple mouths is because they have to be quite efficient at eating or attacking. So it usually would bite and tear flesh to consume more quickly. Judging by it. Oh yeah, they have quite good vision and also hearing, as you can see by the weird 6 ears they have on the top of their head. Very unusual indeed. But they even got. Ooh, I'm not too familiar with every Cry Lab creature, but some of them do surprise me. Quite cool. Moving on. Punkin Pulverizer. This is a weird one. Some of the staff find it quite weird and funny. It's kind of like, alright, it's not actual pumpkins, but it's the ones that, a lot of these guys, it's like kind of like Cry Lab creatures are like camouflage ambush hunters, predators. With this one pretending to be pumpkins itself. And these ones have multiple pumpkins that all have mouths and can eat. As well, it would curl up around to look like a small pumpkin pile with vines. You have to be quite careful. You think might be harmless, but they have quite sharp teeth. You could tell because quite a few of them with orange teeth, similar to some beavers, but they have really strong teeth that could basically strong enough to cut wood, just like beavers. Wait, more in depth. I already forgot the basic. A camouflage pumpkin's patch and alright, I already knew this one. Good. Oh, this horrid thing. An actual plant one, like I meant flesh-eating plant. They've missed all flesh. It's a creature that is manic, and when it dies, the seeds will float away. It's just like a living. If you might be able to see the eyes, a living dandelion that runs around. It's not much smarter than around the similar smartness of just a fly, but they're quite dead. Seems pathetic, but they're quite deadly as well. They, most things have sharp teeth. They bite, very wacky, very manic, just like swans. Especially if you kill them or you whack them in the head too much. They're seeds if you do not make sure that they're removed. They're quite big and bulky, but if you don't incinerate or destroy in some regard, they will grow up as a small one, and more of these will be around. A massive hassle. Right, moving on to the next one. Ooh, another camouflage one, a bit more friendlier. They look like boot files. Oh yeah. This one's a weird one, because some of the realities we go to are quite fractured, and comes up with weird ones. This one, Cry Creature kind of just pretends to be books or camouflages. No kidding. And just like, not really deadly to anyone, but just don't make it annoying. Don't approach too far. They have, even though they look like paper, quite stable, strong teeth. But everything looks like a book, but inside it's all, meaty. Very cool. One person was able to tame one once. I think what? Not tame. I mean, like, yeah, tame, got as a pet kind of things. Some of them are around clothes that someone has one at home. I thought it was really cool. Also very weird, because some people, like the workmate, would just send in dogs or cats, but nah. One just sends in pictures of this. Right. Another camouflage leaf creeper. Oh man. It mimics a pile of leaf and grabs the prey that steps on the leaves. I do not know how this thing works, but it kind of looks like a weird goblin-like thing. But its front, usually where most things would step on it, would be its chest area. Without knowing, usually it buries itself in leaves, not just pretends to be a leaf ball. And with some high areas, someone would step right there in that gaping maw in the middle, biting the ankle and getting it quite scary. Good hearing, strong. They're all of these things are so strong. Some kind of creatures are so scary. We have not found that many ones that are nice herbivores. Ooh. Well, not a nice one, but a weird one. The blood being. Quite scary. Blood it feeds on other bloods. Vampirish. And it has made of blood and also tusks. And has night vision. You can usually tell they have night vision because a lot of Cry Lab creatures with glowing eyes did that. It's weirdly weird thing. Especially like Soda Goo Bunny. I'm not sure if they mentioned on the tape, but they have like lights or bioluminescent lights that shine around at a gap they can't see, so it projects light coming around that the creature can't see, but only we can because it's shining through, so they can see even in pitch black. Very terrifying. I think they're harmless, quite strong, surprisingly, being made of parts of blood, but also, as they need to keep replenishing his supply. Quite confusing. Don't know how this thing works. Don't remember what reality it was in. It was in a really weird one. I do remember that, as it's, made out of blood. But surprisingly, as blood gets more liquid light, but more jelly liquid light. And the tusks it uses to spike and then suck out blood like a straw. A cold Riiger. This is a very weird one. A very weird one. Alright, as knowing by the name, it likes cold places quite fast. Has a long tongue. Oh yeah, they do have long tongues. Remember, they go like because sometimes, you know, some certain animals, they have really long tongues. This one expands, or folds it up, but expands near to the bottom of, like, where his arms are, the top of his arms. Alright, oh, they have sharp fangs. They do. They have sharp everything. Wonder. Oh, I gotta think thinking, because there's a lot of Cry Lab creatures. You have to make sure you know all of them. Sharp, sharp, and sharp. I think sometimes they use multiple strategies, but judging by that, he does multiple ones. Like, similar to an anteater. That's the right word. They have long tongues, usually to collect termites. But this one would collect a small type of insects, depending on the year around. So I think the place it comes from, it has different intensity. So it has, like, I think really cold winters, like really warm summers. So it might migrate an in between, because it'll be left with some amounts. It does the termite method on one time, and it also, for like other things, could pretend to be snow, because on one side it is white and ice, and its red spikes also might show that they're, oh yeah, they're venomous spines. They have like neurotoxin venoms. Very spooky, very bad. Usually ones are more colourful or deadlier of poison. Alright, I got through quite a few. Alright, another one. Oh! An odd dinosaur. Raging Robin is an aggressive, flying, prehistoric-looking robin with sharp claws. Pretty self-explanatory by what it looks like. Even odd words, it has claws on the end of its wings. Of course, the most terrifying talons I've saw on any bird. Quite scary. Especially with the sharp things, they're quite very, very deadly. If you see one, the best course of action is avoidance. So their piercing eyes, same called bioluminescent night vision. They usually like picking on big fights, even ones they know that, or not they know, but ones there's a bit out of their league. Oh, I think I've already forgot. But a lot of these are not more instinctual. Some of them are conscious. Not these ones specifically. Some of the ones that I passed through. This was more of a quite wild and intense one. Oh, I'm familiar with this. The Shaded Seeker. Critic on this. Oh, the shaded colors, as you can see, white, black, and grey. They climb on walls and eat mostly meat. Near enough, it's just carnivore. But on desperate times, when food is low, because they like to live in caves sometimes. And Rocky Mountain places. They're very deadly and fast, and usually what I see in some places, they eat things that would get lost in caves. Like I know one, like a few of them. Especially the ones I got heard, it's like someone once was on a Cry Lab-esque exploration with Sean, the sofa, and one of them comes over and they saw one come out of a cave entrance and grab a goat and brought the goat into the cave. Quite terrifying. Not the first time this has been seen, but quite scary. Glad that they didn't see the person, of course, but very scary. Oh yeah, not sure, but they do also very deadly kind of battle. Most things with antlers, especially these. We haven't been able to seen it much, like, properly. But they would battle over mating with their odd antlers and most likely their legs as well. Really rare, but not a lot of the kind of creatures have been able to see properly, just like most ones in our own world. Right, moving on. Ooh, spiderberry, basically strawberry spider. Alright, oh yes, I forgot about this. They're very addictive to eat, and it lures you to crave it more, and then you usually get lost and get eaten your own self. They look harmless, cozy. They're strong and they usually live in colonies and nests, so quite scary, quite deadly. And it's kind of an odd delicacy because it's trying to like a mixture with meat protein. They're completely, they look like strawberries. They have the taste-ish of it as well, combined with the meaty texture. I'm trying to think. Some places in Cry Labs let you have them, but of course it's just straight up banned. If you're not going to be able to have these anymore if you're banned from it, because it'll be unwise, because they're very addictive, similar to some like drugs addictive to eat. They have very weird chemicals in. We have to be quite careful about what we do with some of these, because some, addictive illicit substances, people who make them would like to get their hands on some of these to try and create their own crazy addictive substance. But try not to do that. We're trying to just do more testing before like a lot of people would have it. We'll see what the long-term concerns of them are. Ooh. Oh, this one. These are weird ones. They're kind of pets to some other one. Called like, what is pet sesh? They're around some of them, but there's one weird creature called the Pale Jester, and he owns some of them. It's mostly his that you see, but they are around other places. We don't know if they're all linked to him or some of them not. But they're harmless-esque. More of just a right. It's a creature resembling hand with teeth, and it's attached to a strong shell body. So very similar to a hermit crab. It's like a giant hermit crab. Very old. So you can see a spring. Very odd color scheme. They don't have any poison or anything like that. They just look very hand-esque and unusual. Obviously, be careful of them if they're around, of course. Because if you're sleeping, you're very vulnerable to these things. Because they're more in, like, eating mice and such like that. And surprisingly, snakes. But they don't go after humans, they just don't like them. Similar-ish to, Pale Jester, which we'll get more on later. Have I done a few? Just checking. It's got quite a few more to go on there. Batmare, like Nightmare. Mr. Cry really does not have to name any of these anything normal. But at least they're quite cool. Right. User co-location, bat. Night vision, similar ones. Oh, okay. These are really weird looking ones. So, even though they look like they have two eyes, they have multiple ones with the same vision. This increases their, because when our eyes look, we have two, which independently send each to each signal. So you could see where this one technically has 8 eyes containing in the glowy ones doing the night vision. So we can see more accurately as they work together to better things. They have eagle-like vision. saying eagle-like because it works differently, not like night eagle, owl. Very cool things. Quite spooky spikes as well, similar. They have ant mandibles. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, this is like a big predator. They're a predator of the birds of prey. Quite deadly. I don't know. It does do it at night time, so it kind of hunts at nests. Oh, that's why. Okay, the fuck is this? The reason it's called Batmare is because it was the first time you saw it, it kept picking on. No, killing us. Not killing us. Basically, it was a giant nuisance to like staff exploring somewhere as it kept just going around and flying, like basically investigating like a temporary camp that they made. Not like mini, like camping out, set up a bit, kind of stuff. There's a big nuisance, so like attacking, wrecking a few things. But thankfully didn't kill anyone because we were quite prepared with some of the things we have. Like, what was it? I don't think, what's the weapon? I always forget the name sometimes. It's like all the spike weapons we use, right? Basically, like a special taser that we use, which it's kind of like it looks like a drill, but it's called. It uses something that we found. It's pretty cool, called electric quartz, where if it gets squeezed, it produces electricity. It's just a much more powerful version that could deliver, like, it does it when you squeeze the trigger and squeeze that, but just creates a charge. It was when one was just found, just trashing some brave man, just was able to concuss, pass him out, bring him in. It's quite cool. And the other one, Bellaz. He's a head of an individual, but quite a dangerous one. And he's the head of a company from a different multiverse, Realtree, called Toxic Tricks. Weird one, I don't know why. But he's quite manipulative and cunning. Very scary guy. He wants to live forever. And he will not let anyone stay in his way. If you ever see this guy, he obviously ain't in here. These are all recreations. It's just, if you ever see Bellaz, just avoid. Do not get yourself noticed. Usually just wouldn't care because where he's from, he legally owns the world where he's from, so it's quite dangerous, but won't send you anywhere near him. But if you ever see him, just hide, avoid, get out of there. You just go back home. We don't, because he doesn't have our portal technology, but you have to be very careful. If he gets a hold of it, then he could invade our world. Because Sean has something he wants. Wants. Very bad. I've normally strong. Smart attire. He kind of looks like a chard. Like human with more teeth. Thinks of himself as a god of his own. Don't trust him. He's very smart at lying, so if he says anything that seems good, just do not listen to him. He's not a businessman. Oh, the next one. Graag. Very weird one. It has very strong teeth and it mimics a big flower, which is his mouth. This one's a very weird one. very green, you just lie on the floor. Tend to be plants. Flaps that open up in the middle, come out, and then usually some insects would, big ones or pollinators, or one of them further on is called a light bee, which it eats, and it happens to eat. They have eyes, was it down here? There's eyes on all of them. All of the sides of the panels. As well as a spiky tail and just spikes everywhere. Very scary. Well, a lot of them are scary, all of them deadly. If you see one, just stay your distance away and be very careful. They have the same tough orange thing, so they can kind of just snap a tree in half. If they would like to. If they're Jill. But usually, I don't know, they get confused of what humans are, so we're safe.